Asa was born into the royal line of Judah, son of Abijah, grandson of Rehoboam, and a descendant of King David. He grew up in a kingdom fractured by compromise, where the altars of pagan gods cast long shadows across the land. At just 20 years old, Asa ascended the throne. The kingdom was unstable, torn by idol worship and the lingering influence of his grandmother Ma'akah, who held power as queen mother. Yet Asa did what was good and right in the eyes of the Lord his God. He launched a spiritual revolution, tearing down high places, smashing sacred stones, and calling Judah back to faithfulness. Asa did not flinch, even when idolatry crept into his own family. He removed his grandmother Maacah from her royal position for making an obscene image to Asherah, putting faith above blood. Asa's faith-led leadership reformed not only systems, but households, setting a new course for Judah's future. Years into his reign, Asa led Judah in a sweeping purge, tearing down foreign altars, smashing sacred stones, and cutting down Asherah poles. The land was cleansed, and the people were called to seek the Lord, the God of their ancestors, with renewed devotion. Asa's zeal for holiness reached his own family. He deposed his grandmother Maacah from her royal position for making an obscene image. No one was above the call to faithfulness. The nation gathered in Jerusalem. With trumpets blaring and voices raised, they entered into a solemn covenant to seek the Lord with all their heart and soul. The people pledged unity, and those who refused were set apart. Judah was united in purpose and worship. Asa fortified the cities of Judah, building walls and towers, and strengthening his army with shields and spears. Refugees from Ephraim, Manasseh, and Simeon flocked to Judah, drawn by the peace and blessing of God. But soon, a far greater threat loomed on the horizon. Zerah the Ethiopian marched against Judah with 1,000,000 men and 300 chariots, filling the desert with the thunder of war. The battlefield was set at Mareshah, in the valley of Zephathah. Asa, facing overwhelming odds, knelt before the Lord and prayed, "O Lord, there is none like you to help the powerless against the mighty. Help us, for we rely on you." Gap. The Lord struck down the Ethiopians before Asa and Judah, and the enemy fled. Judah's army pursued them as far as Gerar, striking down all who remained. They plundered the cities around Gerar, for the terror of the Lord had fallen on them. Great quantities of livestock, sheep, goats, and camels, were seized as spoils. Judah returned to Jerusalem in triumph, their faith vindicated and Asa's trust in God rewarded. The people rejoiced as they returned, carrying the spoils and celebrating God's deliverance. The land was at peace, and Asa's faith shone as an example for all generations. For 25 years, Judah flourished, peace reigned. Asa oversaw new roads, cities, and prosperity. The land was at rest, blessed for seeking the Lord. In his 36th year as king, Asa faced a grave test. Baasha, king of Israel, fortified Ramah to isolate Judah. Instead of turning to the Lord as he once had, Asa took silver and gold from the temple and palace, sending them as tribute to Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, to break his alliance with Israel. Asa's faith, once bold, now faltered in the face of fear. The plan succeeded. Ben-Hadad attacked Israel, and Baasha withdrew. But Asa's reliance on human alliances, not God, would soon bring consequences. The seeds of compromise had been sown. The prophet Hanani confronted Asa, declaring, "Because you relied on the king of Aram and not on the Lord your God, you have acted foolishly. From now on, you will face wars." Asa, once humble, now rejected correction and imprisoned the prophet. Asa's heart, once devoted to reform, hardened with pride. He oppressed some of his people, and the spirit of renewal faded from the land. In his 39th year, Asa was struck with a severe disease in his feet. Yet even in pain, he did not seek the Lord, but only the physicians. The king who once trusted God now looked elsewhere for help. After 41 years on the throne, Asa died and was buried with honor in the city of David. His son Jehoshaphat succeeded him as king, inheriting both his strengths and his warnings. Asa is remembered as a king who began with faith and courage, but whose later years warn us of the danger of spiritual complacency. Even the brightest legacy can fade if we stop seeking God. May we learn from Asa's story to trust the Lord not only in crisis, but in every season of life.